These bikers welcome you to a new airshow debrief, and this time we're at the Bucharest International Airshow. Traditionally, the show kicked off its nearly 12-hour flying display at 9 a.m. with participants of the Romanian Aero Club early in the morning, before the arrival of the enormous crowds that enter and leave the free airshow throughout the day. This included this three-ship of Italian-built ICP Savannah S ultralights as part of the Pelicans formation team. These put on an entertaining display with a few quirky maneuvers.
Și iată în suveică, formație etajată și suveică, Mădălin Gârbea, Mircea Oltaru și Edi Despescu. Haideți să-i aplaudăm, doamnelor și domnilor, pe The Pelicans!
Imagine absolut fascinantă la Bias 2025, este semnătura The Pelicans, această manevră. Ea de obicei este făcută cu aeronave de acrobație, o putem vedea făcută de șoimi din România, însă iată că Mădălin, Eduard și Mircea reușesc să o facă și cu aceste avionuri ultra-ușoare motorizate.
Joining them during this segment were two Zlin 242s, equipped with air horns. At 10 o'clock, the Romanian Air Force joined the aerial action, with no fewer than 18 F-16 Fighting Falcons, 9 from each of their F-16 bases. These were immediately followed by the impressive sight of 10 IAR-330 helicopters, which we'll see in action throughout the day in different variants. Next came this three-ship of C-27 Spartans, medium-sized transport aircraft, followed by the Romanian Air Force's heavy lifter, the C-130 Hercules. Some of the F-16s we saw earlier then returned for a tail chase and airfield beat-up sequence. This noisy spectacle, put on by three groups of three aircraft, went on for quite an entertaining while and showed the dedication of the Romanian Air Force to support the event. Since the MiG-21s were withdrawn from service, the F-16s are the only fighters in the Romanian Air Force inventory. They mark a significant leap forward in technology from the MiG-21s, even if the Romanian MiGs were heavily upgraded. The Romanian F-16s were acquired from Portugal and Norway. They are F-16A variants that have undergone the midlife upgrade, or MLU, to bring them up to modern standards. They are based at Fătăști and Câmpia Turzii, The aim is to eventually have around 50 F-16s in service in Romania, though the country has also expressed interest in the American F-35. Next up were the Polish Squadron Foundation. They presented this historic jet, an LIM-2, license-built versions of the MiG-15 fighter of Soviet origin that gained fame in the Korean War. They operate a single-seat MiG-15 bis and a twin-seat MiG-15 UTI. Here we see the single-seat version, which of course grew worldwide fame through its widespread use in the Korean War. The two-seat version remained active as a training aircraft in the Warsaw Pact as late as the 1990s. The three-ship of C-27 Spartans returned, one of which broke off to commence a series of energetic passes. The 7 Spartans of the Romanian Air Force are based at Bucharest's other large airport, Otopeni, just a few kilometers north of Bani Asa, where the airshow was held. Following the large C-27, the next act provided quite a contrast in size. Here we see Andrea Banazaru flying the incredibly agile Extra 330 SC over and through some ground-based pyrotechnics.
Andrea Banazaru, care face prima evoluție solo a aviației sportive astăzi la BIAS 2025 în foc de artificii la verticala pistei 07, doamnă și domnul, și la Băneasa. Andrea se joacă printre artificii, face un carusel la verticala.
She is a member of the Romanian Aero Club, who also organised this event. The aircraft she is flying is decked out in a gorgeous patriotic livery, showing off its Romanian colours to great effect in the bright summer sky.
Bucharest International Air Show se rotește pe verticală, viteza scade, înălțimea crește. Andrea cu al său Extra 330 SC rămâne agățată acolo sus. Aeronava devine incontrolabilă, Andreea se joacă cu bileurile de aer, recapătă controlul aeronavei și redresează din resurse.
She is the first woman to represent Romania in international aerobatics competitions. In 2024, she came in second in the European Aerobatics Championship in the intermediate category, and she has clearly been honing her skills since.
Viteză se apropie frontal de Air Show Center, doamnelor și domnilor, Andreea Bănesăru!
She started flying at age 16, became a flight instructor at age 19, and joined the Hawks of Romania display team in 2022. And even now, she is just 25 years old. That's quite an exciting career she's had up to this point.
La verticala noastră, să vedem oare ce iese. Împinge pe spate și trage din nou în suprastațiune plus 4G pentru a coborî la 45 de grade. Doar în trecere, dă drumul acum, viteză 400 de km pe oră, trage la 45 de grade, se rostește cu tonoul și declanșează comandă de marșă și calorie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, tonouri declanșate, iar Andreea continuă să se rotească. Are că vine viteză, doamnelor și domnilor, Andreea Bănesăru, ia kilometru, Eco, Delta!
Și superbe efecte pirotehnice, tricolorul românesc este astăzi
Aeroclubul ne salută, Andreea! Aplauze pentru Andreea Bănesăru!
The Flying Bulls participated with several aircraft from their Hangar 7 collection from Salzburg. Here we see their famed Bo 105 solo display.
105 Red Bull! Fantastic!
The BO-105 was a reconnaissance and anti-tank helicopter built by Messerschmitt, Bulco and Blohm in the 1980s. It also saw widespread civilian use for police tasks. As you can see, it is remarkably agile, thanks to its titanium rigid rotor head. Most helicopters use a fully articulated rotor system, with hinges that allow each blade to flap and feather independently. This works well for smooth, stable flight, but limits the stresses the rotor can endure in extreme maneuvers.
Fabulos pentru un pilot aprobat să vadă așa ceva făcut cu un elicopter, un tonou. Este într-adevăr foarte periculos, dar în același timp, dacă nu era periculos, nu scria Red Bull pe acel elicopter.
The BO-105 uses a hingeless, rigid rotor system made of titanium and fiberglass. The blades are directly fixed to the rotor hub, with flexibility built into the material itself rather than hinges.
Și iată că de data asta Red Bull nu zărit rotor și un rotor special care face acest elicopter să fie capabil de acrobație aeriană, de toate aceste manevre impresionante, absolut fabuloase pe care le realizează în aceste momente. Haideți să-l aplaudăm, doamnelor și domnilor! Red Bull!
This design makes the rotor much more responsive, able to withstand negative G-loads, and capable of sustaining the extreme stresses of aerobatics.
Credeam că va fi o urcare la 45 de grade, s-a transformat într-un tonou, într-un looping cu tonou. În partea de sus este o manevră acrobatică specifică competițiilor de acrobație aeriană, dar realizate cu avionul, nu cu...
This absorbs the forces exerted on the rotor blades, though in fairness, the Flying Bulls example was enhanced even further, especially its fuselage and transmission, to allow this extreme demonstration.
Această evoluție, doamna Pias, 2025! Să vedem ce mai face.
Stă. Ce urmează? Punct fix. Stă la punct fix.
Se dă peste extraordinar! Fantastic, doamnelor și domnilor, această evoluție!
Here we see Jurgis Kairis with his Sukhoi Su-31. Jurgis is a Lithuanian, but he was born in Siberia in 1952.
Mileurile de aer coboară la 45 de grade față de orizont, își ia viteză și vine aproape de sol. Jurgis Kairis!
As a qualified engineer, he helped in the development of several aerobatics aircraft. This includes the Su-26, and this Su-31, both high-performance aerobatics planes that dominated competitions in the 1990s.
Yuri Skyris rămâne suspendat în aer.
Suspendat grație motorului AS-14 de 400 de cai putere, care trage
He also developed aerobatics maneuvers
ca pe un elicopter, în timp ce Iuris își continuă nestingerit evoluția la cei 73 de ani, dacă nu mă înșel, pe care îi are și pe care nu îi dovedește, arătând întotdeauna că este neobosit și gata să evolueze.
The Su-31 is a lighter version of the Su-29. It combines this with some extra thrust than its predecessor, which helps with its performance.
Marchează din nou verticala, aceeași manevră rămâne fără viteză, se folosește de motorul liciului de văzut pentru orice pilot acrobat care urmărește această evoluție și nu numai. Sperăm că și dumneavoastră vă bucurați la fel de mult ca orice pilot care se uită la modelul în care Jurgis manevrează acel aeroplan cu o măestrie de necompunare.
The development of this aircraft started in 1991. It has a roll rate of over 400 degrees per second and can easily support stresses of 12 times the force of gravity.
Spune al României pe care România l-a avut în al doilea război mondial, repurtând sute de victorii pe ambele fronturi, arătând
2025, Jurgis Skyris în zbor cu Cobra!
Cobra, domnul fighter!
The German Air Force returned to the Bucharest International Air Show with the Eurofighter Typhoon solo display. This is an aircraft from Taktisches Luftwaffengeschwader 31, also known as Bulker. They are based at Nervenek. This display is performed by their display pilot, call sign Bam Bam. He is one of 2 German Air Force Typhoon display pilots.
Viraj foarte strâns, cu înclinare 85-90 de grade, supra-sarcină.
Germany is acquiring extra Typhoons in view of the current world situation, adding to the 138 ordered in the past. Those are spread across 4 bases.
Piloții români de F-16, piloții germani, execută serviciul de luptă aeriană, poliția aeriană extins.
They are also going to upgrade 15 of the existing fleet to replace the Tornado ECR to engage in electronic warfare and suppression of enemy air defences. Germany was, of course, one of the 4 partner nations of the Eurofighter program.
Dar F-35 asimetrice a celor 2 motoare. Da, să vedem ce urmează. Un development, câtă eleganță pentru o aeronavă atât de puternică. Național Piaz 2025. Pentru acest super peisaj pe care ni-l oferă Hawks of Romania și
This pyrotechnic in the colours of the Romanian flag kick off the display of the Romanian Aero Club's main ambassadors, the Hawks of Romania.
2025 cu evoluția ale aeronavelor militare și acum cu aviația sportivă.
Pregătim aparatele foto pentru că Shoimi ne oferă o imagine.
They now fly the Extra 330SC exclusively, whereas in the past they also had Extra 300L aircraft in the team.
Vali, Teo și Andreea care se apropie cu fum intermitent formația fum continuu sub vehicile. Haideți să aplaudăm pe Hawks of Romania pentru imaginile superbe contrastate de albastrul cer din ziua de astăzi.
Pentru dumneavoastră, doamnelor și domnilor, George Rotaru, Ianchi Romeo, Eco Ilițescu, cu al lor like.
Here we see their solo break away from the main formation, Andrea Banazaru. The Hawks of Romania are the official representatives of Romania at international aerobatics competitions. The team was formed in 2007 and is led by Georgiu Rotaru. Their display consists mainly of formation maneuvers in box, interspersed with solo aerobatics by Andrea. The solo maneuvers by Andrea really liven up the display, and the cheers from the crowd whenever she appeared showed her popularity.
Continuând despre loții care evoluează la clasa Unlimited, cea mai înaltă clasă de acrobație.
She was also an ambassador to the show in the run-up to the event, appearing in local media alongside a female Romanian F-16 pilot to encourage people to visit the show.
Navigația se făcea după faruri luminoase. Între timp, ne surprinde din nou formația rom care atacă perpendicular pe pistă și ne impresionează cu încă un looping perfect executat. Coboară foarte mult, supra-sarcina crește la maximum, la fel ca viteza. Și încă o dată o transformă în înălțime, ruperea!
The team round off their display with some solo passes by all the team members, performing various maneuvers showing off the excellent handling of their Extra 330 aerobatics aircraft. The Romanian capital Bucharest is perhaps not high on everyone's city trip list, but it does have a unique character. It has a lively old centre with plenty to see and do for the entire family. And the Art Nouveau palaces give the city an unexpected charm. This contrasts sharply with the communist architecture that came after it. The old city centre is very walkable and offers a bit of tranquility from the traffic-heavy boulevards that surround it. To improve its appeal, it is under heavy refurbishment, but most of the classic architecture is still there to enjoy. Here we see a lovely three-ship of warbirds, also over from the Flying Bulls Hangar 7 at Salzburg. In the lead, we see the mighty P-38 Lightning, a twin-engine interceptor and ground attack aircraft from the Second World War with its characteristic twin-boom layout. Behind it, we see the P-51 Mustang Nookie Bookie 4 and an F-4U Corsair.
Aeronavele de vânătoare
superbe!
Pot F4 Corsair și P51 Mustang, trecere superbă. Într-adevăr, cum spunea și domnul comandor, una dintre principalele figuri acrobatice este vorba despre Immelmann.
The Mustang gained fame as an escort fighter that could fly alongside American bombers as far as Berlin during the Second World War, which helped in the survival of large bomber formations. But, like the P-38, it was also a formidable ground attack aircraft.
Nu erau foarte, foarte puternice.
Formația de 2 se apropie din nou pe direcția 07 cu 1-2, cum s-ar spune în traducere liberă din engleză, barrel roll.
The other aircraft in this pair was designed for carrier-based operations. The bent wing allowed the landing gear to be shortened, and thus it was better able to handle the shock of carrier landings. It served with distinction in both the Second World War and the Korean War. The precision of these mixed formations makes this display a highlight wherever it appears. The Aero Club of Romania also has a parachutist element, and here we see their ambassadors, the Blue Wings, displaying with a large Romanian flag and presenting other impressive feats with their steerable canopies, while their Cessna 208 jump ship returned to the airfield.
El gestionează toată activitatea de zbor cu parașuta în cadrul aeroclubului.
Here we see a three-ship of IAR 330s for their first solo display of the day, in this case by an IAR 330M.
Haideți să-i salutăm cu mâinile în aer!
The IAR 330M is a modernised variant of the baseline version of the IAR 330. It features modern avionics and a forward-looking infrared sensor and a weather radar.
Acesta tocmai decolează într-o frumoasă...
The IAR 330 is a Romanian licence-built version of the French Puma medium transport helicopter.
Deplasarea este una rapidă.
The helicopter is manufactured by Industria Aeronautica Romana, located near Brașov, Romania. A licensing agreement was signed with Aerospatiale on July 30th, 1974, allowing Romania to produce the SA-330 Puma locally.
Echipajele s-au dovedit profesionale.
The first Romanian-built Puma, designated IAR 330H, conducted its maiden flight on October 22nd, 1975.
La show.
The standard utility model is the IAR 330L.
Salvare, evacuare, medicare.
During the 1990s and 2000s, modernized versions were developed, notably the IAR 330L SOCAT, an attack helicopter variant developed in collaboration with Israeli firm Elbit Systems, and the IAR 330 Naval for the Navy. Production continued into the 21st century, with at least 163 units built until production ended around 2008. The largest user is the Romanian Air Force and Naval Forces. The IAR 330 has also been exported to several countries, including Pakistan, Ivory Coast, United Arab Emirates, Sudan, Kenya, Lebanon and Ecuador. Next, an Air Force C-130 dropped some Romanian military parachutists.
Între parașutiștii din Sistemul Național de Apărare și TNT Brothers. TNT Brothers Skydiving este cea mai mare asociație de parașutiști din România.
This three-ship of Yak-52 training aircraft needs no introduction. These are the Iacari Acrobati, perhaps the most famous Romanian civilian display team.
Avioanele sunt de tip Yak-52, cu
motor MP14 care dezvoltă 400 de cai putere. Este un motor radial cu 9 cilindri. Combustibilul folosit este benzina de aviație.
The Yak 52s they fly were built in Romania, as are many aircraft of this type. The Romanian company Aerostar built them under license from 1977 until 1998.
Și revenire. A fost un looping cu răsucire. Lache comandă un looping acum în formație.
Their display consists mainly of very tight formations. The Vic formation is the basis of their routine, during which they perform their aerobatics close to the crowd. The Yak 52 is perhaps best known in a variant that has a nose wheel, but the Yak 52s of the Romanian aerobatic Yakas are the less common TW variant, TW being short for tail wheel. The colour scheme of numbers 1 and 2 was inspired by the colours of Romanian Air Force aircraft during the Second World War. Number 3 takes its inspiration from United States Army Air Force aircraft in the same era. The Iacari Acrobati are known all over the world and have travelled all the way to the Far East already to put on their impressive performance. Their appeal at home is still very high after all these years, and they are always a highlight at the Bucharest Air Show. We'll see them later on in this debrief for 2 more very different performances. The Romanian flag carrier Taram also joined the party with one of their Boeing 737s, flanked by Romanian Air Force F-16s.
Boeing 737, iar cealaltă aeronavă se duce în partea stângă, în dreptul pilotului și fac semne. Haideți să aplauzăm Iacării acrobați! Ce frumoasă desprindere!
Taram's fleet is not very large. They operate 4 Airbus A318s, 4 Boeing 737-700 and 4 Boeing 737-800 airliners, in addition to 6 ATR-72s.
O expunere deosebit de frumoasă! Wow! Niciodată un avion comercial cu pasageri la bord nu va face o astfel de manevră, corect, domnul comandant?
This is one of the Boeing 737-700 variants. They also have 2 Boeing 737 MAX on order, which will be delivered in 2026. This 737 can carry 14 business class passengers and 102 passengers in economy.
Și vom vedea când foarte frumos renunță la aterizare și pleacă, iată-l! Super! Super, Doamne!
A regular participant at the Bucharest International Air Show is the Slovenian Air Force PC-9. The Slovenian Air Force uses the PC-9 for light strike missions. Their fleet is based at Cerclage ob Crc. The PC-9M variant is also in service in Croatia and Ireland in Europe, but it also formed the basis for the Beech T6 Texan too, we'll see later. 9 PC-9Ms serve in Slovenia. This display is a popular sight at air shows around Europe and has won high praise for its precision and highly dynamic nature. For training, the Slovenian Air Force has several types in service, including the Velis Electro, the first European Air Force to adopt an electric aircraft for this purpose. Flying the display here is Sasso Sebuk. Development of the Swiss-built PC-9 appears to have stalled, whereas the even more popular PC-7 continues to see upgrades and has even been developed to the brand new PC-7 Mark II. The PC-9M, on the other hand, appears to have reached the end of its development cycle.
În aer, FC9, o combinație extraordinară, pentru că la suprasacina pozitivă
Există echipamente care te ajută și aici discutăm de pantalonii de suprasacină care stric. În zbor razant ne salută pilotul din Slovenia!
We turn our attention to the Romanian Air Force Academy.
Cu număr de 2500 de ore.
Iar coada, dar nu cei din urmă, îl avem pe capitan Radu Andrei, cu 1700 de ore și capitan comandor Păduraru Marius cu 3000 de ore. Înseamnă să fii un profesionist.
Here we see 4 of their Yak-52s in action, coming from their home base at Baboch.
Aeronave militare cu precizie și rigoare, ci și să formezi și să pregătești alți piloți pentru misiuni critice. Ca instructor nu doar predai proceduri de zbor și manevre, ești un formator de
About 12 of these aircraft remain in service there. They are the more traditional Yak-52s with nose wheel.
capabil să opereze în condiții de stres, risc.
Și de aici, de la Băneasa, haideți să vedem următoarea evoluție și să ascultăm comanda capului.
Și rupere în cross!
Haideți să aplaudăm pentru această manevră extraordinară.
Viteză mare, dar cu o înălțime mică. Practic, celulele de ea, în momentul de față, execută o intersecție în fața dumneavoastră.
Following this crossing, the aircraft will perform another break before making individual passes in front of the crowd.
Piloții trag de manșă, câștigă înălțime, capul formației este urmat de coechipier, își completează imălmanul cu o jumătate de tonou și acolo sus, efectul convențiile rozului.
Ce este pilotat de către domnul comandor Borban Sergiu. Și acesta din urmă vă salută. Haideți să-i facem cu mânuțele, mai ales când
Nu se văd, își au încredere unul în altul, după care iată se despart.
și intersecție de aeronave. Să-l salutăm pe iacul cu numărul 40.
Extraordinar! Pilotul zboară în acest moment pe dos.
Și locotenentul Reșan Kazak executând o nouă în fața dumneavoastră. Aplauze pentru ei!
After a few years of absence, the Baltic Bees returned to the European airshow scene again in 2025 with a 4-ship routine using the well-known Czech-built Aero L-39 Albatros jet trainer. The team are based in Latvia at Jurmala Airport.
Și cu un looping executat perfect în axul director al pistei 0725 aeroportului.
Executând un tonou lent, urcă ușor, o manevră foarte, foarte grea, executată de talentații piloți. O figură extraordinară, foarte greu de făcut cu un astfel de avion, se numește Pendul.
Next, the show presented a combat search and rescue demonstration of a downed pilot. Here we see the pilot coming down from a C-27. Once on the ground, he has to hide from enemy forces patrolling the area. To assist his escape and evade, a pair of F-16s arrive to take out the enemy forces. Once that is done, they set up a wagon wheel to patrol overhead, while friendly rescue helicopters arrive on the scene. Those helicopters are IAR-330L SOCATs. These have been modified by the Israeli company Elbit. When the area is clear, the SOCATs call in the standard versions of the IAR-330, the transport IAR-330L, with friendly forces to extract the pilot. Just like the F-16s, the SOCATs also set up overhead fire support. With the downed pilot positively identified, the friendly forces take him to the rescue helicopter, and they make a quick egress out of the area. The S-70 Black Hawk of the Romanian emergency agency SMERD drew an enormous crowd in the static, but its counterpart of the Romanian police also drew lots of interest during its demonstration.
Forțele terestre americane, varianta Black Hawk, pentru a fi folosită, în același timp era un elicopter care era mai bun. De ce a fost alesă varianta Black Hawk? Pentru că pe timpul testelor elicopterul Black Hawk a avut 3 evenimente în care pur și simplu a căzut și toți cei din interior au scăpat cu viață. Și atunci forțele terestre au luat decizia.
This is the only S-70 in their service. It comes from Poland, being built at the PZL Mielec factory.
În anul 1974, în prezent este utilizat de peste 40 de operatori civili și militari din întreaga lume.
Varianta S-70 este denumirea civilă a aeronavei, iar Black Hawk este denumirea militară.
This helicopter was delivered to Romania in December 2023. It is used for aerial policing tasks, such as traffic monitoring, rapid transport of police teams, and delivering special police forces support to large public order events and operational tasking where heavy lift and long-range capability is needed. Romania signed a framework agreement for up to 12 S-70 Black Hawks for various government agencies. Most of these are allocated to SMERD.
Haideți să-i aplaudăm, oameni buni! Ne puteți vizita și în expoziție statică, în dreapta 70M, numărul 274 și luptătorii serviciului pentru acțiune.
Next, the audience was treated to a few flybys by an Airbus A321neo of low-cost carrier Wizz Air. Wizz Air is the leading low-cost carrier and the largest airline in Romania. It employs well over 1,600 people there. The A321 has 230 seats in the standard Wizz Air configuration. Neo indicates the more fuel-efficient and quieter new engine option variant. Here we see a flyby of the Yak-52s of the Romanian Air Force Academy and the Iacari Acrobati, a tribute to Dan Stefanescu, a famous Romanian aerobatics pilot, who also trained countless Romanian pilots recovery procedures from extreme flight conditions, no doubt saving countless lives in the process. The Romanian Air Force operates no fewer than 8 C-130 Hercules, 4 of which are H variants and the other 4 are B versions. These complement the Sol AN-26 and 7 C-27 Spartans of the Romanian Air Force.
Foarte frumos expune burta, superb, de aproape, C-130 Hercule. Ne salută!
They form 901 Squadron, based at Bucharest Otopeni Airport. Here, we see one of their C-130B Hercules, sporting an old-school camouflage.
Această aeronavă este senzațional! Salutăm tribuna! Hercule, Forțele Aeriene Române, baza 90 Transport Aerian Otopeni! Hai să-l aplaudăm cu mânuțele sus, toată lumea să-l salutăm! Super!
Next, the show organised a tribute to Romanian jet fighter power throughout the decades, with their first jet, the MiG-15, joining up with their most modern fighter, the F-16. They put on an entertaining tail chase, honouring Air Force pilots past and present. This was followed by a few extra solo passes by the Polish LIM-2, or MiG-15. The start of the IAR-330L SOCAT solo display was certainly different, being led by a C-27 turboprop transport aircraft.
Pilotul comandant a elicopterului cu numărul de codă 69, lecomandor Iana Chiucalin, experiență de 2800 de ore de zbor și ce face? Uitați-vă ce face cu Ditama elicopterul de 7,4.
The steep wingovers throughout the display clearly show the confidence pilots have in the helicopter.
Bineînțeles, pilotul care este la manșă are multiple misiuni internaționale în... Iată, le salută și voi! Mâinile sus!
The IAR-330L SOCAT has a completely overhauled sensor suite, a cannon under the nose and wings to carry a variety of weapons to make any enemy's day unpleasant.
Un elicopter mediu de transport, dar este echipat cu mijloace de luptă. Trage pe coadă sus, foarte frumos, mai avea un pic și era aproape pe verticală, lansează către față, unghiul de inclinare de 60 de grade.
Spectaculos această evoluție!
Gândiți-vă că acest elicopter are masă maximă de se duce.
SOCATs are based at two bases, Bacău and Câmpia Turzii. A total of 25 SOCATs were built, 12 of which were modernized with NATO-compatible avionics from 2005 until 2008.
Manevrele sunt executate foarte în scurt și disponibilul de putere și de viteză este într-o marjă foarte mică. Superbă imagine cu elicopterul care se rotește.
Then it was time for perhaps the strangest team part of the Aeroclubul Romaniei, making their debut at the Bucharest International Air Show. It consists of 3 Czech-built Zlin 526 training aircraft, painted in World War II camouflage schemes.
Pilotul american, în timp ce pilotul român se pregătește îndată să decoleze pentru a-l ajuta pe idol său american.
Super! Zlinurile 526 în culori americane, germane și românești arată extraordinar. Ele sunt făcute să ieșit, iată, extraordinar.
Pilotul român a pornit motorul Zlinului 526, devenit astăzi Messerschmitt 109. Rulează pentru a intercepta pilotul american.
The team members are Minher Istrate, Mircea Olteanu and Valentin Caval.
Aeronava pilotului român Yankee Romeo Zulu Alpha Charlie poartă culorile și marcajele unui Messerschmitt.
O povesteam și mai de dimineață, în a doua misiune diplomatică a sa în Italia, la Foggia.
The display was especially unusual in how the fight between the aircraft evolved. One Zlin was painted up in ME-109 colours, with the adversary painted up like an American P-51 Mustang. When the American got into a position to threaten the German aircraft, the Zlin painted up as a Romanian Air Force aircraft dove in to save the day for the Axis powers and dispatch the Mustang, illustrating Romania's role in the Axis powers during World War II.
Este Mircea Olteanu, iar
Este pogărit asupra taberei.
It has to be said the aircraft looked splendid in their wartime colour schemes, and the display was pure fun to watch. At the end, the 3 passed by in an elegant formation to greet the audience before breaking to land, but not before making a final solo pass each.
În stânga, rolul pilotului german și cel care tocmai a desprins Mircea Olteanu, rolul pilotului american, aripa dreaptă.
Cei 3 rămân la verticală în formație de defilare. Zlin 109 Messerschmitt. Iar ultimul, dar nu cel din urmă, Vari Caval cu tonou, pilotul german. 2 tonouri legate, ne surprinde.
The Hellenic Air Force returned to Bucharest with Team Daedalus. They fly a Beech T6 Texan.
At the show center, the pilot will perform a loop. Look.
The team takes its name from a famous artist and sculptor in ancient Greek mythology. The name of the team is quite apt, as the transfer of knowledge and skills is necessary during pilot training.
To maintain better loss on steady course and altitude. Posing rolls.
The T6 Texan II is based on the Swiss PC-9 turboprop trainer.
Is resisting a force 6 times greater than the force of gravity, making his body weight equal to approximately 5.
The manufacturer actually has to pay a licensing fee to the original Swiss manufacturer, Pilatus, for each T6 they build.
Then performs a horizontal rotation and continuous slides in reverse again.
This highly capable training aircraft is in service around the world and also has a light strike variant.
Performs a
Team Daedalus are based at Kalamata on the Peloponnesus Peninsula. The team is part of 361 Air Training Squadron there. The team traces its origin to 2005 and was initially trained for display flying by the United States Air Force T-6 demo team.
He stops and performs a normal.
Pilots graduating from the T-6 in their training continue on to the brand new Italian-built M346 jet trainer, the most advanced and capable jet trainer in the world.
Moves away.
Preparing the audience for the highlight of the 2025 air show, the Romanian Air Force returned with their F-16s to do a few fast passes along the crowd line.
Wow!
Din punct de vedere regional, o putere!
The airport of Băneasa, just north of Bucharest's sprawling city centre, is the venue for the Bucharest International Air Show. The ramp near the terminal building is the show site, which includes a varied static park. The event is a major showcase for the Romanian Air Force, which brings a lot of assets to the show. The role of the Romanian Aero Club is also evident, thanks to the large space dedicated to touring aircraft and manufacturers. Also on site, lots of flight schools and training programs for people working in the aviation business. Romanian aviation heritage also has its place at the show. The event also enjoys strong support from Bucharest airports. The large hangars don't contain trade stalls, but mostly information stands for companies in the aviation realm. There are only a few souvenir stands on the showground, but catering is plentiful and attractively priced. Besides the Romanian Air Force, other branches of the Romanian government and military also participate and draw lots of visitors to their equipment. Besides those, there is also an interesting selection of foreign aircraft taking part on the ground, from across Europe and even beyond. On Friday, the airfield is already open, allowing visitors to watch some of the aircraft for the static display arriving ahead of the main event on Saturday, and catch some rehearsals at the show site. Then it was time for the undisputed stars of the Bucharest International Air Show 2025, the French national aerobatic team Patrouille de France. They are the official aerobatic demonstration team of the French Air and Space Force, unknown as one of the oldest and most prestigious display teams in the world. The unit officially received the name Patrouille de France in 1953, thanks to an over-enthusiastic airshow commentator, cementing its role as a symbol of French aviation excellence. They are based at Salon de Provence Air Base in southern France, and they operate 8 AlphaJet aircraft, a type that has in the meantime left active service with the French Air Force.
Feel this beautiful swan formation?
The France's purpose extends beyond aerial performance. It serves as an ambassador of the French Air and Space Force, promoting its values of teamwork, discipline and technical mastery. Through national ceremonies, international air shows and diplomatic events, like they did in Bucharest in the days leading up to the show, the team embodies French pride and projects the image of France and its armed forces worldwide. Next came one of the crown jewels of the Flying Bulls at Salzburg, their four-engined historic DC-6 airliner, flanked by their three warbirds we saw in the show earlier. It was built in 1958. This aircraft has an illustrious history, for instance serving at the private aircraft of Marshal Tito of Yugoslavia. Later in its career, Tito sold it to the head of state in Zambia, Kenneth Kaunda. There it was also used as a luxury airliner until it was abandoned outside the airport at Lusaka. In 2000, the Flying Bulls acquired the aircraft and its thorough 3-year restoration started in 2001. No Bucharest airshow would be complete without the Romanian Aero Club's White Wings glider display team, flying two ICIS 28B2. This is a Romanian-designed and built glider, dating back to the 1970s. It is built entirely out of metal and has a wingspan of 17 meters. They performed an impressive routine with elegant formation work, very difficult with an unpowered aircraft. Their gracious aerial ballet is also popular beyond the Romanian borders, and they are welcome guests throughout Central Europe. They were the final act of the regular show, before the sunset part of the event kicked off. And what a peaceful lead-in to the Sunset Airshow it was. The three IAR 330s, running in for their final contribution to the show, signalled the start of the sunset acts, which would have plenty of light, spectacle and fireworks. After the display by the SOCAT, it was time for the troop-carrying version once again to entertain the crowd.
Un stimabil domn capitan comandor Nimigeanu Ovidiu.
If you look at the nose, you can see that this is the legacy IAR 330L version of the helicopter, without any of the modern sensors added to the SOCAT and the IAR 330M.
Din public nu a fost salutat. Lansare pe spate, aparatele de fotografiat, ca să vedem tot rotorul de 15 metri. Lansează pe stânga, viraj de 60 de grade, 60 plus. Evoluție. Superb ce poate să facă acest elicopter de... Wow! Surpriza serii! Spectacularuri!
Its display also included plenty of flares to spice things up. Flares are used in combat to lure heat-seeking missiles away from the hot aircraft exhausts.
Foarte frumoasă evoluție! Extraordinar! Aproape că rămâne pe loc! Chiar asta a făcut, a urcat pe verticală, în viraj, a continuat urcarea. I-au auzit spanele cum bat. Și acum, ce mai putem avea? Flare-uri! Cu renversare! Frumos! Nu-i așa că e frumos? Spatele! Pare că levitează acest elicopter. Pare că sfidează toată frumusețea elicopterului. Super frumos! Lansează pe stânga în aplauzele dumneavoastră. Puma! Loopingul perfect.
Not to be left out, the Romanian Aero Club also joined the sunset action. First with the Hawks of Romania. With the sun properly behind the horizon, the crowd could enjoy some more aerial magic, with a healthy amount of fireworks thanks to the sparklers on the wings of this Fox glider, also part of the Romanian Aero Club. The choice of music was a bit surprising, however. Perhaps the most surprising soundtrack of any airshow act. Conceived in the late 1980s as a robust yet agile glider for advanced aerobatic training and competition, the Fox glider prototype first flew in 1989, and serial production began in the early 1990s. More than 53 of these high-performance aerobatic gliders have been built since then. Constructed primarily from composite materials, the Fox combines high strength with low weight. It features mid-mounted wings with a 15-metre span, a strong cruciform tail, and a reinforced fuselage designed to withstand loads up to plus and minus 9G. The tandem cockpit configuration allows pilots to train safely for advanced aerobatics with full dual controls. Some more aircraft of the Aeroclubul Romaniei. Here we see a team of 3 ultralights, the Pelicans. They were established in 2009 with Icarus C-42B aircraft. In the spring of 2024, at the initiative of the General Director of the Romanian Aero Club, Georgiu Rotaru, preparations began for the formation of a new formation of 3 Savannah S ultralight aircraft.
Mircea, Mădălin și Eduard!
Thus, 3 young pilots began flight training under the guidance of Andreea Banasaru, a pilot instructor at the Romanian Aero Club, who we saw in action with her Extra 330 SC before.
Foarte strâns pe partea stângă, executat perfect, cu rază constantă, singurul lucru care perturbă 2025. Ne atacă frontal și rup formația!
The Iakari Acrobati also have a pyro act, which they perform in combo with Jurgis Kairis. This act is known as Air Bandits and is based around large explosive charges on the ground, simulating air attacks as the team performs their aerial maneuvers above the airfield. This is all set to the pumping tune of German dance metal band Rammstein.
Du hast mich.
Jurgis added to the spectacle with some fireworks of his own, a new item he added to his display since COVID.
Năstornicul Jurgis Kairis a gândit să ne prezinte o surpriză în seara aceasta.
The final display were the Polish Flying Dragons, over from their home city Krakow, lighting up the evening sky with a combination of LED lights on their paragliders and fireworks. Their fireworks spectacular proved a great hit, with the massive crowd that had assembled at the Baniasa airfield, their paramotors gliding gracefully in formation through the dark sky. For a fireworks and a rock concert, this final pass by a Romanian Air Force C-27 and a pair of F-16s brought the flying display to a bright conclusion.
Ne luminează seara cum ne-a luminat și ziua. Mulțumim din toată inima pentru o zi extraordinară.
Be sure to give this airshow debrief a like and consider subscribing to this channel. That way you never miss a new video with some more exciting airshow action.